Okay, so I'll start. I hope it streams properly on this. Yeah. Okay, good. So okay, are you able to see the screen? Can someone confirm?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yeah, please stop me at any point of time and ask me questions. Okay, if there are any. I heard from the TS that some of you who are not familiar with programming find the going a little too fast. So please, I'll try to address all the questions that you have. Please approach me, or without fail, approach the TS and get things clarified. Okay, that is just a general. So, because if you let things accumulate, then you will fall behind more and more, and it will become difficult to catch up. So, yes. So today we are going to start a new topic, namely lists. Okay, this is a fundamental data type or a way in which you can organize your data in Haskell. Okay, so list is used to describe a collection of values. For instance, here, so this 1, 2, 3, 1. So you write lists like this. Put square brackets and put all the elements in between. So this is the simplest way of writing lists. This is a list of integers. Okay. This is a list of bools. Okay, true, false, true. It's a list of bools. So there are some restrictions with with lists. First restriction is that all the elements in a list should be of the same type. Okay, so you cannot have 1, 2, 3 true. Okay, or 1, 2, 3 and the character A. Yes, so you cannot write 1, 2 true or 3 comma character A, etc. Yes, so lists whose values are of type T, and I just now told you that it has to be the same type T throughout all the values. So a list whose values are of type T, you say that the list itself is of type list T. So you write T. T is the name of a type. It could be int or bool or char or whatever, and you enclose the type itself in square brackets, and you read it list of int, list of char, list of bool, etc. So this is list of T. Okay, that means that list all of whose values are of type T. Okay. For instance, the list consisting of the entries 1, 2, 3, 1 is a list of ints. The list whose entries are true, false, and true is a list of bool, and so on and so forth. Okay. And now there is one special list which is the empty list. Just like all of you have seen empty sets. All of you have seen sets in school itself, right? So empty set corresponds to there being nothing at all. So this is the empty list, and you denote it by writing the left square bracket, right square bracket, and nothing in between. Okay. Now there is a question as to whether there can be a space in between. We can check it right now. Okay, so I started GHCA now, and as you can see, if I ask for the type of I'll get that result list of type. I could just write true, false, true. Yes, it will just return it. I can write 1, 2, 3, 1. That's a list. Its type is, if you ask for the default type, it will say list of integers. Yeah, that's list of integers. And what more? So now this is the empty list. Okay. If you ask for the type of the empty list, it will say it is type list A, no matter what A is. Yeah, it is of type list A. Okay. What is A? A could be anything whatsoever. Now, can I write it with spaces? Yes. So you see, you can put any spaces you want. As long as there are no entries in between the left square bracket and right square bracket, it denotes the empty list. Okay. Is it clear so far? Yes.
Yes, sir.
So lists can also be nested. What do I mean by that? I can have lists like lists inside lists. I can have the list 1, 2, 3 in and the list 4, 5, 6 inside a larger list. Okay. You see, I'm making lots of typing mistakes. Yeah, you're having two lists inside a larger list. So if you ask for the type of the expression, yeah, you will see that it is list of integers. Do you see it? Yeah. So you have two left square brackets and then integer and two right square brackets, which means it's a list of integers. It's a list, each of whose entries is a list, and each of those inner lists contain integers. Can you have so okay? You can nest stuff. That's fine. Can you have things like this? Can you have things like this?
No, sir.
Why
No,
not?
sir.
Sir,
Because the inner list does not have the same type.
Yeah. So all elements of the list should have the same type. So if I have a nested list, I have an outermost list, each of whose elements is a list, but each of those lists should have the same types. Okay. I cannot even have something like this. So I cannot even have 1, 2, and then here 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I cannot have. Okay, it says, oh no, there is a problem. Okay, but I can have three lists. First list is 1, 2, second list is 3, 4, third list is 5, 6. You can have this. This is yeah, okay. That is because I put 5.6 here. I'm making lots of, I don't know why I'm consistently typing full stop instead of comma. They are right next to each other.
Sir, it means whatever you defined previously.
Yes, Mohammed, yes, please.
You have written a type of it, it. So that means whatever
what
was.
is it? Okay, it is a special thing in GHCA. Okay, it means the last expression that was evaluated.
Okay, okay.
Okay, that's a secret. Okay, secret sauce inside this thing. So you can say it. Okay? It means the last expression that was evaluated inside GHCA. Okay, it's not a Haskell thing, it's a special GHCA. Okay, so lists can be nested, so you can have the list 3, 2, the list empty, and the 7, 7, 7.
Sir, could you say the difference between Haskell and GHCA? I mean,
yes, Haskell is the language. So whatever you write in the left, in the editor here, that is Haskell. GHCA is the interpreter. Okay, that runs Haskell, and GHCA. So in Haskell you cannot do this :T, for instance, or :load or whatever. GHCA is a program that runs Haskell. Okay, so you have extra stuff that you can ask GHCA. You can ask GHCA to load a program. You cannot ask Haskell to load anything. Okay, you :L, :R, :T, ask for the type of an expression. That and all you cannot ask Haskell. Okay, you are asking GHCA. So GHCA is a program. It's the Haskell interpreter. Okay, it's a program that sits and interprets Haskell for you. So other than sending it Haskell commands, okay, Haskell expressions, Haskell definitions, you can also send it extra stuff like this :t, etc. And this it is a special thing in GHC. Okay, since it is one program that is sitting and evaluating Haskell commands for you repeatedly, it is a special command that you can give it, which is saying, okay, what is the it is something special name that you can use to refer to the last executed command, the Haskell command. Is that fine? Is this
Yes,
clear?
sir.
Yeah. Okay. So I find that a small subset of students are asking all the questions. It is good. I encourage them to ask the questions, but I also encourage others to ask the questions. So, how many of the students in attending today's class, how many of you have done programming earlier in school, college, or whatever? How many have you not done? Yeah.
So not
How many have
in
not done? I
Haskell.
think that's easier. So people who have not done, can you raise your hand?
Sir, Haskell or any language?
Any language at all. Naveen, Surya, Srimati, you've all not done programming before. Okay, so how are you finding the thing? So is it okay, or are you totally at sea? Are you able to follow?
No, I'm able to follow.
You're able to follow? Okay, good. So please stop at any point of time. How about others? How about Sufaid, Aditi? I've not even seen your names before because, of course, so, and also because I minimize the participant window to enable me to see my own screen. That really. So there seem to be 1, 2. How many have not done programming before? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh. 10 people I can count. Are there more? Does anybody else count differently? Yeah. So how about Rooptak Mazumdar? What do you have to say?
Yes, sir. Like I'm able to follow and stuff.
You're able to follow?
Yes. Only the last class was a bit fast, so I had to like look through the slides, but otherwise it was fine.
Okay. Good. Okay. So so please stop and ask me. Okay, at any point of time. Okay. So there is no harm in being a little slower. The point is for everyone to understand. Okay, great. Let me resume the lecture.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, could you please explain the last command T plus D IT?
:t asking for the type. It's a GHCI command. It's not Haskell, it's GHCI. So it's asking for the type of an expression. :t true will give you boot. Is this clear? :type. And you don't usually type :type. Instead, you use the shorthand :t. And then you say true or whatever expression you want. But if you just say :2, if you just say :t and ask for something like, I don't know, plus, you will get a too general type sometimes. Okay. And you might not be able to understand at this stage what it means. Okay. Or if I ask for :t and say ++, okay, I'll get this. But if I say :t and sometimes you will get types that are too general, and then you don't know what is happening at all. So therefore, what you use is you say :type +d. +d means don't give me the most general type, give me the defaults. Substitute with defaults. So if you just say :type +d and use the same folder, you will see that it's a simpler type. Okay, at least it is shorter. It has fewer these things. Okay, we'll see folder etc. later. But the +d is to say defaults. Okay, and then IT is whatever I did last. That is IT. IT is whatever command whatever Haskell expression I evaluated previously. That is what IT means. You don't call it IT, you call it it. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Great. Let me Continue. Okay, so we've seen lists. We've seen some examples of lists. How do you build lists? What do you do with lists? How do you build lists? Given a list, how do you process it? Okay, so these are the questions. For that, you need to know how lists are built internally. Okay, and lists are built very simply using a single operation called colon. Okay, you would pronounce it cons for construct. Okay, colon. For historical reasons, in a language called Lisp, which was the earliest functional programming language, this particular operator was called cons, which stood for construct. Okay, so sometimes we'll say cons when you want to read out this thing instead of saying colon, but sometimes I'll just say colon because it's easier to read. Okay, so anyway, so to build a list, you use the colon operator. How do you use the colon operator? The colon operator adds one element to the front of a existing list. Okay, so it operates like this. So you have a list 2, 3, then you add one before it by saying 1 colon 2, 3. And then the result is 1, 2, 3. How do you get the list 2, 3 itself? Srimati, can you tell?
So you add an empty list.
No, if you add 1 to 2, 3 to the list 2, 3, you get 1, 2, 3. How could you have gotten 2 itself? Adding 2 to the list 3.
Oh, like that. Okay, yeah. No, I thought.
How do you get the list consisting only of 3?
3 to empty set. Empty
Exactly. 3, add 3 to the empty list. Okay. So you have 2 building blocks, the empty list and the colon operator. And using these 2, you can get any lists that you want, any finite list that you want. Okay. So that is the point. Why do I say any finite list that you want? Because there are infinite lists. This is one of the nice features of Haskell. We'll talk about it later. Okay. All Haskell lists are built this way using colon operator, starting with empty list. Okay. So 1, 2, 3 is actually 1 colon the list which is obtained by doing 2 colon the list which is obtained by doing 3 colon empty list. So 3 colon empty list, that gives you the list consisting of only 3. You do 2 colon that list, that will give you the list 2, 3, and then you do 1 colon that, which will give you the list 1, 2, 3. Is this clear to everyone?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, is it possible to add an element at the end of the list? I mean 2, 3, 1 if I want to do that.
You can do 2, 3, 1, but for that you have to start with empty list. First do 1, then do 2, then add 3, then add 2. You can only add things to the beginning. You can add to the end of the list. We'll come to that in a minute. Okay, but for that you have to program. You cannot do it using the built-in operator. Only there are 2 built-in things about lists. One is the empty list, and this is the colon operator. These primitive operations, if you will, they only add things to the front of a list. To add to the end, you have to write a program yourself. We'll come to that in a minute. Okay.
Is the colon basically a binary function like div mod
it is a
plus?
binary function. Yes. So therefore, if you want to check the type of the colon, you can check it, but you have to give it inside parentheses, because colon is an operator. It's an operator that is in between, and there is an argument to the left and an argument to the right. So if you want to apply it in the function form, you can do it, and the way you do it is this. So you can either say 1 colon. Okay. By the way, Haskell automatically makes this right associative. So I think, yeah. So which means that you can simply write 1 colon, 2 colon, 3 colon empty list without parentheses. And what it means is 1 colon. Yeah. So the bracketing is to the right. You see the point? Yeah. So because this is the natural way in which you have to do things, Haskell allows you to write that without writing any parentheses. Okay. Okay. So the normal way in which you would write is to say 1 colon, 2 colon, 3 colon. Okay, that will give you the list 1, 2, 3. But if you want to view colon as a function, yes, it's a function. But then, as we told you, you have to, if you want to use an operator as a function, you should put it inside parentheses. So you can say parenthesis colon 1. And what is the other expression you want to give? Parenthesis, so colon inside parenthesis, the function, the construct function applied on 2, and this is the construct function applied on 3 and empty list. And you have to close the parenthesis. Yes. And so you can ask for the type of colon. What is the type of colon? Yes. It doesn't matter what the element A, what the type A is. It takes an element of type A and a list of type A. Okay, this is important. Element of type A, list of type A, and it produces a list of type A. Okay.
So can you put dollars into that colon thing? So you do brackets
So I
colon.
will put colon. Oh, but it's a binary operator. It's a little difficult. So you want to do something like this?
Yes. Sir.
Yeah, it works. Yes. So you can save on parentheses by putting dollars. But I mean, it's much more ugly to read. I'm just showing you that it's a function. Okay. You will usually write it like this. Okay. 1 dot 1 colon 2 colon 3 colon empty list. Okay. Okay. So let's get back here.
Sir,
Yes.
like to add 1 to the end of the list, could we do it like a list of 2 and 3 plus a list of 1?
Yes, you can do that, but plus plus itself is a derived operator. I mean, it is of course a built-in operator, but you can define it using a function. We will show how to define plus plus, etc. Yes, what you are saying is true. You can do plus plus, but you can. What you are saying is that to get 2 3 1, you can do 2 3 plus plus the singleton list 1. Yes, but we will define plus plus later. Okay, we'll do all that.
Okay.
Okay, so we have now shown you how to build lists. How do you, given a list, what do you do with it? Okay, you can extract. So since you build a list using the first element and the remaining list, so you can decompose a list by picking apart the first element and the rest of the list. The first element is called head. The rest of the list is called tail. Yes, somebody had a question.
Sir, can you go back to the slide previous to the previous? Slide previous to this. Yes, sir. This one, the last point, I don't get it, sir. How is it list of integers, sir?
Why? Because this is okay. So look at each. This is list of integers, right?
Yes, sir.
This is list of integers because
Sir,
empty list is list of anything whatsoever. You can treat it as list of integers or list of characters or whatever.
Sir, so if instead of 3, 2 or 7, 7, 7, let's say there's A, B, C like that, sir.
Yeah, then it will be list of char.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Okay.
And you will still use the same notation for empty list. You don't need to say anything extra to say that it's an empty list of characters.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. So yeah. So since you build a list using the colon operator starting with empty list, and the colon operator takes an element, a list, and puts the element in the front of the list. The natural way to decompose a list is to pick it apart by taking out the first element and the rest of the list. The first element is called the head. The rest of the list is called the tail. Okay. Head and tail.
Sir, by first you mean the leftmost element?
The leftmost, yes. By first I mean the leftmost. Okay. Right. Okay. So the definition is simple. The head applied on x colon xs. This is standard Haskell idiom. So if you want to write a general list, if it's a non-empty list, you know that it is built using the colon operator applied on one value and a list of values of that type. So the leftmost element is called x, and the remaining list is some x's. Okay, is the plural of x. Okay, some other x's. Okay, so this is one int. Those are ints. Okay, think about it that way. Okay, so x colon x's. That's right, because the colon operator is applied on a value and a list. Okay, this is a value, that's a list. So head of a non-empty list, which is of the form x colon x's, returns x. Tail of x colon x's will return x's.
Sir, are x and x's syntax, or is it just for
no, it's not syntax. You can do anything you want.
Okay.
You can say head of h comma h colon t. You can say.
Okay. And
both the head and tail functions are undefined for empty list. So you can try that. So sorry. If you say head of 2, 3 list, it will give you 2. Tail of 2, 3, it will give you the list 3. Okay, so this you need to remember. Okay, and then if you say head of empty list, it will give you an error, exception prelude.head empty list. Tail. Yeah, so you are again.
Can we write xs colon x and
you can write it, but it doesn't make sense, So you can say in a function, but you can say xs colon x, but no, but then it will still be the case that now xs will be an element and x will be a list.
no, in the reverse, like I mean the first one can be a list. And
No, you cannot do that. No, you cannot do that because colon will always take a value and a list.
Okay.
Just because you called it xs doesn't make it a list. Okay. Yeah, colon will always take the leftmost element and the rest of the element and put them together. So head will take out the leftmost element, tail will give you the rest of it. Okay, always that. Okay. Okay.
So will tail of a singleton list give an empty list?
Yes, it will give an empty list. Yes.
Oh.
No idea why.
There is list a list where the first element is an empty list and the next one is an integer. Is it a valid list?
It is not. Why? You tell me why it is not.
Sir, because they are of different types.
Yes, that's it. Okay. This is not a valid. Okay, great. So yes, so head returns a value, tail returns a list. Remember this one. Unless the list itself is a list of integers, in which case head will return a list, tail will return a list of lists. Okay. 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 Here is another function. Sometimes you might want to say, oh, it is not safe to apply head or tail when the list is empty. So I need to first check whether the given list is empty. How do you do that? You do it using null. Null of empty list is true. Null is a predicate, as they call it. Null is a function that you can use to check whether the input list is empty or not. Okay. Null of empty list is true. Null of any non-empty list is false. Okay. Okay.
So null always takes list as an argument.
Yes. Null
Null
takes
always
list as an argument. Yes. Yes.
always. Okay.
Yeah. So type of null. Yeah. So the default type of. Yeah. List A arrow both. Okay. So now we can start writing functions. Okay. So how do you do recursion on lists? Okay. I mean, how do you define functions on lists? Head and tail are simple functions. Okay. Typical functions that you might want to do are recursive functions. Okay. So recall inductive definition of functions on numbers. The base case is f of 0 and the f of n is defined in terms of n and f of n minus 1 or sometimes f of n minus 2, etc. So for lists, the induction is on the list structure, not on numbers. Okay. Not on previous number, etc. It is on list structure. And list structure is given by what? Head and tail. Okay. For instance, the base case is the empty list. The non-empty, for a non-empty list, you define function on the list in terms of head of list and f applied on tail of list, because the function is on lists. So you cannot apply f on head of L. Why? Why can't you apply f on head of L?
So I have
The
a
head
doubt.
of L is not list.
Yeah, L is expected to be a list. The argument is expected to be a list. Head of L is a value. Okay. Tail of L has the same type as L. So you can apply f on tail of L. Okay. So you define f of L in terms of head of L and f of tail of L. And yes, what was the question?
So I didn't understand what you meant by it doesn't act on numbers, but sorry, it doesn't act on like the numbers in the list, but like on the list.
No,
structure.
not the numbers on the list. This is, I just contrasted it with induction on numbers like we did last time.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there induction, the inductive definition f of n is in terms of n and f of n minus 1. Here, the f of L is in terms of head L and f of tail.
Yeah.
Of course, if the list is a list of numbers, then of course you will use those numbers. That's right. Head of L could be a number itself. That is fine. Yeah. I'm not saying about that. Okay, so here is a simple to begin with. So here is the first thing. I want to take a list of integers and add 1 to every element of this. Okay, and now so someone who said that they've not programmed before this course, can someone volunteer? I forgot all the names. Can somebody other? I've been asking Srimati questions. Can someone else volunteer to do this for me? You should speak up. Someone else who was in the.
Sir, could you show me the slide once more? The functions on this, just one look at it.
Yeah. One second. This you mean?
Yeah, that's all I wanted. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, is this fine?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So can someone volunteer to solve this? Add 1 to every element in the list. Yes, please. I mean, volunteering to do these things in class will help improve your confidence about programming. And since you, yeah, so don't be shy. There is no harm in getting things wrong at first, etc.
Sir, so can we use the map function? Like we can use the class one.
Who was asking me this question? I can't find out who was asking me this question. Yes.
Ankit Gayan.
Can you tell me your name?
Ankit Gayan.
Ankit
Gayan. Yes, sir.
Okay. What is your question?
Like you are saying to add class one to all the lists. So I am telling that you said a operator like called map. Like we can apply a function.
Don't. Please.
Yeah.
I am trying to teach basics to everyone. Okay. Yes. There are enough people here who know map. I mentioned it already. That is fine. So please, when I ask someone else to volunteer, have you done programming before?
Yes, yes.
Are you BSc or MSc student?
Sir, BSc first year. Yes.
Okay, good. So please be patient. I'll ask someone else to volunteer. Map is fine. We'll do maps later. But yes, so somebody raised hand. Sanyam Agarwal, you raised hand. So do you want to volunteer to solve this?
Yes, sir. I was actually saying the same thing of mapping.
Oh, no, please don't. Please, if you want to suggest fancy solutions, you have enough opportunity to do all your fancy solutions in the assignments, etc. And when I ask you, okay, so don't be disheartened that I'm this thing. I'll ask when we come to map. I'll ask you to contribute. Now we want others to do. So who else?
Sir, I was just asking about the question that, I mean, you told to add 1 to each of the elements of the list, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, sir, I mean, can I suggest something? Sir,
Yes,
I mean,
have you done programming before? No, I want to really
a little bit, sir.
a little bit. So I want to really focus on this group today.
Okay,
I
sir.
forgot
Sure,
who
sir.
all
Sure,
raised
sir.
your hand earlier. Can you all raise your hands again? Sorry, please.
Sir, I can volunteer.
Okay, great. Please volunteer. Yes. Sufaid Salil, is it?
No, sir, I'm Aditi.
Who? Aditi.
Yes, sir.
Please. Yes, volunteer. I can't see all the names. That is the problem. Yes, please. So yeah, let me go back to the code. Yes. So yes, please. So add 1. So what is the type? Can you tell that first?
Integer in brackets.
Yeah, list of integers.
Yes.
Okay. List of integer to list of integer.
Yes.
So the arrow is set to, just like in mathematics. No, it's a function from natural numbers to reals. It's things like that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how do you do this? Add 1 of a list. Your input is a list, so you will call it L. Okay. What is the base case? Like I said.
It's an empty list.
Yes. How do you check whether it's an empty list? If null L. If L is null, if L is the null list, then Then what do you return?
Then the singleton list 1.
Why do you want to return the singleton list? Null list is a list with no elements. You want to add 1 to every element in the list.
So null list doesn't have 0, it has no elements, right?
Yes. So therefore,
You return null.
empty list. Okay, you return empty list. Else what do you do?
How to,
Yes, how to get the first element of the list? You have to get the first element of the list, add 1 to it.
right, so we add 1 plus head of L.
Yes, head of L plus 1. Colon is how you put the list back together. And you have to add 1 to all the rest of the list. How do you do that?
The tail of, no, tail is the last.
Yeah, tail of L, yes. Tail of L. What do you do to the tail of L?
You add L plus 1. Achha, you don't add it to, you call the function again.
Exactly. Okay. Great. Okay. Good. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Okay. Great.
Sir, so colon happens after addition.
Colon happens after addition. Yes, that is true. So yeah. So Haskell will try to make it as convenient for you as possible. So colon will happen after addition. So it's okay to not put any parentheses here. Okay. Head will happen first, then the plus 1 will happen, and then only the colon will happen.
Sir, here head and tail are like functions, right?
Right.
I mean keywords. So
yeah, they are built-in functions. Yes, they are not. Yeah, they are functions.
Yes,
they are built-in. They are library functions. They are library functions, but this is the part of the core library. Yes.
Can we pattern match empty set?
Yes. Anyone else?
Can we pattern match the empty set?
Yes, we can. Please, I'll come to that in a minute. Yes. Yeah,
Sure,
but
one
it's
question.
clear. So now if I want to...
Yes, one question.
Yes.
Suppose the list is a singleton, should we define what it is, or is this a complete code, or should we define for a...
Who's asking this question?
Harish.
Yeah, so what do you think?
I feel that you have to define it for singletons.
If the list is singleton, it will go to the else case, and then...
Oh, no, head L plus 1. Yeah, this will take care of it. Yeah, okay.
That's all. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Sir.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so when you like, this is a function on a list, right? So
Right.
for all lists, do you just put L, like some function L, and then it'll identify it as a function on a list, or
No.
like you've written add 1 L, right? L.
Add 1, add 1 L is the definition of the function. L is the argument.
So it will identify L for like list, like it knows that.
No, I could have used anything here. I needn't have said L. I could have said XS or whatever. Yeah, that is because I have given the type originally.
Okay.
Here I gave the type originally, but even if I didn't give the type, it will recognize it as a list because null is a function that applies only on lists. It will recognize based on those. Null is a function that applies only to lists. Okay, and head and tail are functions that apply only to lists.
Yeah.
Okay? Based on that, it will recognize that it is a list. Okay.
Yes.
Fine. And based on the fact that I do a plus 1, it will recognize that it is a list of integers as well. Okay. Okay.
sir,
great.
if we don't give a bracket at the end, will that be a problem?
Yes, it will be a problem because it will try to remember that it will try to do add 1 on tail, and tail is a function. It will try to do that, and then it won't make any sense at all.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, because if you do, it's like saying f of g of x, and f of g of x means f applied to g, and then the result applied to x. You see that here already it is suggesting that there is an error. Couldn't match.
So functions are not right associative.
No, functions are left associative. Function application. Unary functions, if you do, it's left associative, and we went through this in lecture 2 or whatever. So please go back and check. And it is functions are f applied to g applied to x applied to whatever is left associative. F g h x will be treated as f applied to g, that applied to h, that applied to x. You might ask, what does it mean to apply a function on another function? We'll see all that now in a few classes. And this left associativity of function application goes hand in hand with the right associativity of arrow. So if you write A arrow, B arrow, C, you mean A arrow within parenthesis B arrow, C. Okay, and these two things match each other. So please go back and check lecture 2 slides. Okay. Okay, great.
Sir.
So, are we fine with this? So,
Sir, one doubt, sir.
One question.
who's asking?
Sir, this is Swaminathan.
Yes, please ask.
Sir, is there a way you like make one as a list of one or something like that?
I didn't understand. Make a list of?
No, if you have just one, is there a way you can make it a list? Like just say list of one or something like that?
Yeah, you put square brackets around it.
But in the program, sir.
In a program also, what else will you do? Yeah, so you take L and then you take X and you just return list of X. Okay, so I'll call this program promote. Okay.
Okay.
That's all. Okay. Or if you are really fancy, you can say, just because you want to show off, you can say promote is yes. So that's a section, you see. So you're saying apply colon, leave the left argument, take a left argument, fix the right argument to be empty list.
Yes,
okay, fix the right argument to be empty list. Pick whatever argument comes, whatever promote X is, this thing applied on X. Okay, and so you are deleting this. Okay, this is just to show off, but the normal way to write this would be to do this. Okay, is it clear? Okay, fine. Good. So we have all this. So let me just at least try to run this because we have more things to cover. And yeah, so load lectures load. Add one of 1.10 means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 till 10. And if you add 1 to every element, you will get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So this is one of the most basic functions that you can do. Okay. Okay, here is another function. You want to compute length, but again, length is a predefined function. So you will have to call it some my length or something. This you want to take a list of integers. It can actually be a list of anything. So I'll write list A, meaning it's list of what, any type whatsoever, and you want to return an integer. Okay, so now Sufail Salil, what was your name? Sufail, are you still here?
Sufail, yes sir.
Yes, can you volunteer for this? You earlier raised your hand to volunteer for the other thing. Can you do that?
Yeah.
My length of L is what?
1 plus.
Follow the same pattern as add one.
1 plus my length of L, tail L.
No, but before that, what is the first case you need to check?
Okay.
Just follow the add one L pattern. No?
If n null L, then 0.
Yeah, exactly.
Then 0. Else 1 plus.
1 plus my length of tail of L.
Tail of L. Yeah.
Okay, great. So that's it. So, load. Yeah, so that will give you 10. Okay, great. This is very good. Actually, that 1.10 that I wrote now, that itself is a function that you can write. So yes, you can write that. So that function is called so it's actually a built-in function. It's called enum from to. Okay. Enumerate from this to that. That's what it means. Enumerate from to. It's called. Okay. So instead of saying 1::10, I can say enumerate from 2, 1, 10. I'll get the same thing. Okay. How would you be able to write a program for this? My dot dot, let me call it my dots. Or why do you call it? There is no program called dot dot. I'll call it dot dot. So what are the arguments here? How many arguments?
2.
2. Right? For the moment, I'll assume that it's just integer arguments. Integer arrow. What?
List of integers.
Today, I don't know why it's happening. There are so many typos and some random glitches happening all the time. Okay, I take 2 integers and I return a list of integers. Okay, there are certain things that you need to check. So let me call the first thing as init and the last thing as last. Okay, dot dot il. Okay. Okay. So there is one case when you can exit immediately. I want to go from I to L. So there is one case where you can exit immediately. What is that case?
So if both are same.
No, not when both are same. When both are same, you have to return that. If I ask you to go from 1 till, if I ask you to go from 10 till 10, you will have to say
10 itself.
10. From 1, 1.
I mean, I thought that was the base case.
The base case is when I is greater than L. If I is greater than L, there is no way you can go from I to L, right? Unless you're going downwards. Here you're going upwards. If you go up from I, you will never reach L. So if I is greater than L, then you can immediately return empty list. Yeah. Otherwise, you know that I is less than or equal to L. Now the base case is I equal to L. In which case you return just I. Otherwise, what do you do? Srimati, can you tell?
One minute, I'm thinking.
Yeah, sure. Take your time.
I mean, you want to add like I plus 1.
So yeah, I want to always go I plus 1, I plus 2, I plus 3 all the way till L. Okay, I've taken care of 2 edge cases.
Oh, so you write I plus dot dot I'm plus 1 to
I colon dot dot I plus 1 L.
Yeah.
That's it. So you see that things that appear to be Haskell syntax are nothing but some convenient syntax given to you, but it's actually a function defined in the background. So when you say 1 dot dot 10, what you are actually doing is this. Okay. So yes, so that's another simple function. Okay, good. So we've defined all this. Now, like someone asked, can we use pattern matching? Yes, we can use pattern matching. It is painful all the time to check whether it is null and then whether it is, and then extract head, tail, etc., etc. So pattern matching operates by using the empty list as one pattern, and a non-empty list can be uniquely decomposed as the first element and the rest of the list. So it's of the form x colon x's. Okay. So on the pattern matching implicitly separates head and tail. So for instance, for my length, you will say my length of empty list is 0, my length of x colon x's. But this kind of pattern you should enclose within parentheses. Otherwise, it will treat it as my length applied to x colon x's. Okay. So these compound expressions that appear in patterns, you should put them inside parentheses. Okay. So my length of x colon x's equals 1 plus my length of x's. Okay. So no need to separately say tail, etc., etc. when you come here. Okay. Is this clear? Yeah.
So instead of the first bracket, could we use the square bracket that we use for list? I mean, in x colon x's.
No, you cannot. This has to be a parenthesis. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Cannot use. That is for pattern matching, and it's a compound expression, and it needs to be put inside parenthesis. Yes. Somebody else had a question.
Can you show the program again once?
Which program? This program.
No, the terminal.
On the terminal, yes. which program? The dot program or myLength? You want me to write myLength?
No, okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir.
Yes.
So basically, you're using x, whatever colon xs to
to separate head and tail. X is the
Okay.
head, X is the tail.
So you don't have to write head and tail again. And
Yeah, I
again.
don't need to explicitly write head and tail and so on. So for instance, if I want to add one, I'll have add one prime. I can have. So today, I think the Zoom is just killing my. Something or the other. So it's Zoom is capturing my keys all the time, even if I leave it alone for a single minute. I don't know why. It's just completely screwing up my. I think I should just go back to using my iPad for all this, because if I am on the iPad, then Zoom will be on the laptop and I won't have that disturbance at all. Today has been really horrible. I don't know. Okay, so add one prime of empty list. Add one prime of x colon xs equals x plus 1 colon add one prime of xs. Yeah. So yes. Okay. Good. So this is my new definition, and this is exactly like that, except that I'm not saying head L plus 1. Instead, I'm just saying x plus 1 because x automatically matches to head of L. Okay, and this first case will be triggered when L is null. My input is null. Is this clear?
Sir, when we use the head and tail functions,
yes,
they use this pattern matching in their definition, right? Xs to xs.
Yeah. Head and tail itself, yes, uses pattern matching internal. So we are here doing it directly.
Okay, sir.
So today there have been lots of issues when I'm trying to type these things, because whenever I switch apps, Zoom is capturing my keystrokes, and I have to keep typing various things before I can restore focus to my app. Okay, good. So somebody asked, how do I add something at the end, right? 2, 3, 1. Who asked? So who even suggested 2, 3 plus 1 earlier?
Sir, I was there. Isha.
And somebody else also suggested, right?
So I suggested.
So what's your name? I can't see your name.
Ishita.
Ishita.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what the meaning of Ishita is?
It basically means like greatness or something like that. Superior or great.
Oh, what? So is it Shah like Shata or is it Shah like Shiva?
It's Shiva.
Oh, Ishita, you mean, not Ishita. Okay. Ishita is fine. Okay. Ishita basically means lordliness. Okay. So you can lord over everybody. So now, yes. So you want to add at the end, right? So I'll call it add at the end. So here you have a list and then a value, and then you want to add the value at the end of the list. What is your base case? Ishita, you can tell.
If it is a null list.
Yeah, if it is a null list, and even if I just pause my this thing for a minute, Zoom captures my this thing. Today Zoom has been horrible. I don't know. Sorry about it. Zoom is capturing my keystrokes all the time. I don't know. Yeah, if it is a null list and then X, then what do? You want to add the element to the end of the list. to end of all the elements in the list, how many elements are there in the list?
So again, a null list.
No, it's not in a list. You have to add this element at the end of all the existing elements of the list. There are no existing elements. So if you add x to the end, where will it end up? It will end up at the front. It will end up at the head, right? So it is this. If you have no elements at all and you want to add it to the end of the existing list, then you will just end up with a singleton list, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. What about add at end of y colon y's? That is my list. It has first element y, the rest of the elements are y's, and then I want to add x to the end here. So what do I do? Anyone, please. Anyone can know. Volunteer.
Y colon add at end of ys x.
Exactly. You don't disturb the front of the list at all. You have y as usual, but then the tail of the list you go and add x to the end of it. Add at end of y as x. Okay. That's it. Okay.
Sir, could you also write this as add at end of within parenthesis ys and x? Is that valid?
Within parenthesis ys and x. This.
Yeah.
No, you cannot. So
You
because
can't do that, okay.
if you put that doesn't even make sense. You can put parentheses around each argument. That's okay.
Okay.
But not around both arguments together.
Okay.
See, in the small gap between the time when I did the space and took a breath, Zoom is capturing my keystrokes. I don't know why. Today has been horrible. Okay, great. So this we have done. Let's go back. Okay, this is add at end. Attach. So the plus. So this is so this is one version. So then you had this plus which takes two lists and puts one list after the other. Let me call it attach. Attach now takes two lists and gives me a third list. Okay, now there are two lists. I can do induction on based on either list. Which list should I do induction on? Recursion on? Should I view it as attaching one list to the end of another list, or should I view it as attaching one list to the front of the other list? I have x's and y's. Should I view this as attaching y's to the end of x's, or should I view it as attaching x's to the front of y's?
Front is easier.
Huh? Yes, attaching x's to the front of y's, right? Because attaching to the front is what Haskell does basically. So Srimati, can you now tell? I have not asked you to do me any program to know. I don't remember. So attach empty list to y's will give you what?
List with ys in it, right?
That's what. Attach x colon x's y's should give you. I mean, what not should give you. How is it defined?
Like it'll as in it will attach the whole x list to the ys, like to the front of ys.
Yes, and then?
Sorry, so what's the question? What am I supposed to?
What is the definition here? I know what it does is what you want it to do is to attach the whole of x colon x's to y's, but you need to give a recursive definition. I have given the base case. What is you gave the base case? What is the induction? You have to do attach of x's and y's, and then where do you put x?
To the front of x's.
To the front of the whole thing after attaching.
Yeah.
X colon. See, oh my God. So today it's been horrible. If I take my hands off the keyboard, Zoom captures. Don't know why. Okay, great. That's it. So this is actually the built-in operator called plus plus. Okay, so let's see how it works. Let me save this. Let me reload this thing. And yes. So attach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So give us what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So I can say, and of course we will use all the things in our. Yes, this will go all the way from 1 to 200. Okay, is this clear? Okay, great. So attach is another example.
So the last example that you did, what if we do dot dot 1 to 100 and again dot dot like 50 to 150? Then
Yeah.
instead of 101 to 200, what if we write 50 to 150 or something like that?
Nothing. I mean, how does it matter? It doesn't care about elements being larger than, smaller than.
Okay.
50 to 200. You'll see that after you go to 100, it goes back to, after you go to 100, it goes back to 50. Do you see it here?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sir, before you had told that 1, 3, dot, 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 9, if we do, then all the odd integers will be listed. How do we do that?
Right. So there you have to say, okay, so that is one more step after this. So you have to add a skip also. Okay. Enum from then to, that is called. Okay. That's another function. So this is enum from to, enumerate from here to that. That function is called enum from then to. Enumerate from here, then write this and then go till that. 1, 3, 9. Yeah, you see this? Okay.
Yes,
now
yes,
I'll
yes.
leave it to you to write a program for that. Enum from then to. Okay. I don't know what you will call it. So you'll call it, you cannot call it dot dot. You can call it something else you want. You can call it my program for all you know. For all you care. You can just write that and then you let's see. So maybe that will be part of your exercise. Yeah. Part of your assignment. Okay, great. So this is the built-in function plus plus. Okay, so if you do 3, 2, 4 plus plus 5, 7, 6, you will get 3, 2, 4, 5, 7, 6. Okay, great. Okay. So this is another nice function. Value at position n. So you have a list and you have a number and you want to check the value of the list at position n. Okay, there are lots of cases. If n is less than 0, okay, no matter what the list is, if n is less than 0, you say error negative index. Okay, originally. And then if you try to do this value at position and you see that you hit the empty list has no positions at all. Okay, it is the empty list. There is no value, there are no positions even. So here you should say index too large. Okay, and then finally you come to the normal cases. The value at position of 0 of the list x colon x is just x, because the position start from 0. And the value at position n of x colon x is value at position n minus 1 of x, because you want the value at position n. The first position is the 0th position. So you discard the first value, you just concentrate on x's. So if you want to find the value at position 4 in an original list, in a list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that is equivalent to finding the value at position 3 of the list 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let me write it for you. Yeah. Value at position 4 or 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is nothing but value at position 3 of 2, 3, 4, 5. This whole thing should be enclosed under comments. Otherwise it keeps screaming. Okay, fine. This is equal to, can somebody tell me? Value at position 2 of 3, 4, 5. This is equal to value at position 1 of 4, 5. That is equal to value at position 0 of 5, which is 5. You see how it executes, how it's evaluated. So the way you write the function is value at position n of a list. If n is less than 0, you say error, negative index. And then value at position whatever number it is, an empty list is an error saying index too large. Finally, value at position 0 of x colon xs is x. Okay. Why do I need OR T and so on? Ah, okay. Okay, is this function clear? Is it clear to everyone? Somebody has a doubt, please ask me. What should be the value? Can somebody tell? Yes?
11.
Why 11? Because the first position is always 0. So 1 is at position 0, so it should be 11. Okay. By the way, this is not a function that you need to sit and write because this is a built-in function called, it's a built-in operator. So it's a built-in function called bang bang. Okay. So exclamation mark, exclamation mark. So the way you do it is to say 1 dot dot 100 exclamation exclamation 10. If you say, it will give you. Okay. It is like indexing in an array. You go to that particular element of the list. You can do this. Okay. But it will take time. So that is the point. Okay. Unlike an array where it happens in constant time, here you need to walk through the list. Okay. Okay. Yes, if n is greater than or equal to length of L, we will eventually hit a recursive call where n is greater than or equal to 0 and the list is empty list. So you will say index too large. Error prints an error message and aborts, and it matches any type. So, no. So it's fine. So this is equivalent to the built-in operator exclamation exclamation. I don't know how you pronounce it. Bang bang is how you call it. Position in any list are numbered from 0 to length L minus 1. Okay. So L bang bang j is the value at position j of the list, which if you were to count from 1 would be j plus 1. Okay. But you count from 0. Okay. So accessing position j takes time proportional to j. So this is need to peel off application to the colon operator because you need to do this recursive thing. So you need to do this recursive value at position n is value at position n minus 1 of a tail. You keep on going to tail. You apply the tail operator so many times basically. Arrays in other languages allow constant time access to any position. So here you have this. Now I'll quickly close. I'll just take 5 more minutes just to explain some list notation and so on. M dot dot n means m plus 1 etc till n. We have seen it. It is the dot dot function that we wrote. It returns an empty list if m is greater than n, as our program also did. So for instance, 1 dot dot 7 is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. But if you say 3 ... 3, it is just 3. Okay. But if you say 5 ... 4, it is empty list. Okay, this you should remember. So you can go from 5, you can go from 100 all the way down to 1, but you cannot just say 100 ... 1. You should say 100, 99 ... 1. Okay, because then it will take the common difference. Okay, you can skip values like an arithmetic progression. 1 3 ... 8 will give you 1357. 2 5 ... 19 will give you this. You can have descending sequences, but you should write it like this: 8, 7 ... 5. If you write 8 ... 5, you will return an empty list. Okay. Okay. So you can say 12 8 ... -9. It will go 12 8 4 0 -4 -8, etc. Okay. Okay. So now the next thing is to reverse the list. We have seen some parts of it already. I'll do all this in the next class because there is no point in rushing through this. We'll do more list functions in the next class. Any questions you might have now? I'll answer them, and otherwise we'll stop the class.
So I have a doubt.
Yes, please. Yes,
when you're like, for example, like the value at position definition, you wrote if n is less than 0, like in the beginning only, right? Like
right.
So I mean, like, I understand why you should write it in order because you said pattern match, whatever. But what happens if you write n is less than 0 at the end? Like,
yeah, nothing will happen. No, but actually you don't want it to get into the index too large case. Because if you don't do that, see, I have done this only because to give you a better error message. Okay. Because if you don't do it, what will happen? If you give a negative value, let us say, to begin with itself, then you will never hit 0, right? Because from n you are going to n-1. From there you are going to n-2. So it will keep on going till you will exhaust the list. Okay. You will always hit this case. And then you will get an index too large error. But then that would be a wrong error message, right?
Okay.
Index was not too large. Index was actually negative. Okay. Okay. So that is it. Also, you should realize that, yes. So if that's true. So yes. Right. You will always hit this index too large case then. Okay. So, and you don't want that to happen. Okay. Okay. So any other questions? If there are no more questions, then I think I'll stop this. And I'm sorry about something or the other was always disturbing me today. Something about the keystrokes being captured wrongly. I don't know why, but yeah, we'll figure it out. Okay.
Sir, you told that you will be giving an assignment this week.
I'll be giving you an assignment this weekend. Yes.
Okay, sir. So, I mean, how long will we get to solve
when I give you the assignment, we'll get I'll give you some reasonable amount of time.
Okay, sir.
Worry about it. I've not even set to the assignment yet, and you're asking me how long will I give you?
No, sir.
How much time do you want? No, tell me how much time you think is reasonable.
Sir, whatever you think, sir.
No. You tell me.
I don't know how many problems are there in an assignment and how long it will take.
So you tell me how long is reasonable, then according to that, I'll give you the number of problems. You tell me. 10 days?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay then. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. There are no more questions. Then have a nice weekend, etc. So see you. I think the TAs are planning for a tutorial on Saturday. So please make the best use of the TAs availability. Even if you are shy to ask me questions, please feel free to ask all your doubts to them. If you want to convey any feedback, and if you are too reluctant to share it with me directly, you can give it through them. Okay. And, yes. Okay. Okay then. Yeah. Fine.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Good evening. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Sharing first and then.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Yes. Thank you very much. Yes. There is no need for such formality. Okay.